Hi guys, welcome to Pitchero headquarters here in Leeds. I hope you're all well. We're just going to give it a couple more minutes while people log on. We appreciate it's lunchtime. People don't log on in the lunchtime, so just make sure they're okay to sit at the desk. So a couple of minutes, guys. Hi guys, welcome to Pitchero headquarters here in Leeds. Thanks for logging on today for this webinar on membership and payments. My name's Dan Ingham and joining me is Joe.
Hi guys, I'm Joe. Between me and Dan, we'll be running you through all the membership and payment stuff today.
Okay, so a couple of things as well, a little bit about housekeeping as well, just before we start. Can everybody see the screen now that Joe is sharing? You should be able to see the screen, is that correct? If you can't see a screen, there is a place where the pen is at the bottom if you just want to type and say you can't see it. So it looks like nobody's typing, so hopefully that's all good. You can all hear us. A couple of things as well. We're going to go through the membership side of things first with Joe. It's then going to come across to me. We're going to talk about the payments. We'll talk about the app as well and how it ties in with that. I'm also going to run through some bits and pieces that's on the map to come within Pitchero in the next sort of 12, 18 months. And as I say, we'll save all questions at the end. So there will be a session at the end to put your questions in. We'll try and answer them as best we can. If we can't, we'll come back to you. But without further ado, I shall pass you over to Joe. We'll start the webinar.
Cheers, Dan. Nice one. Yeah, like I say, this is to run through the membership and payments features on Pitchero. Some of these things may be things that you guys already know and just haven't done since last year. Some of you guys may be brand new to this. So please bear with us if there's anything that you kind of feel you already know. Like I said, there's different levels of sort of expertise on Pitchero within the guys who are attending this webinar. Bear with us both as well, by the way. It sounds as though we've both got a bit of a tickly cough at the moment. So apologies about that. If we end up coughing and spluttering throughout, we'll try and get through everything without any hiccups. But yeah, like I said, the idea is to kind of focus on how the Pitchero platform as a product can help you guys to save time and effort admin wise and sort of increase the club revenue through using our membership and payments tools. As Dan said, I'll be running through the membership side of things, and then I'll pass back over to Dan to go through into the payment side of things. So the idea of what I'm going to be running through is to kind of help you guys who are sort of, struggling with people updating their information, getting people to fill in those sort of old school paper forms or whatever it is that you're currently using, and kind of eliminate those forms as well. Some people might be using different systems, but a lot of people will still be using the old school paper forms that have been around for 10, 20 years to gather the correct information. That can all be done on Pitchero. So that's down. So the first thing that I'm going to jump into is into membership here. I'll quickly jump into the membership dashboard. It is something that you guys may or may not already be sort of familiar with. Bear in mind, this is a test website. I'll just close that down. These are a few little tips and stuff that will help you should they pop up for you guys as well. Obviously, because I'm going to talk through it all, we're not going to run through them now. But yeah, this is a test website. So bear in mind that this sort of data will look a little bit different for you guys because I'd like to think that you had more registered than not registered members, but because these are all sort of fake dummy members, you'll see that the information in there is not really kind of accurate as it would be for you guys. But this is your dashboard, gives you a breakdown on members by role, total members, registered versus not registered, etc. That's all linked within your membership database, which I'll move on to in a second. But the first thing that I'm going to talk about is how to build your registration forms into Pitchero. Now, I'll quickly show you how to build a couple in, kind of how to make them and apply them to the correct people. So go into membership and then click into fields. These are the key fields that your members will have to complete when signing up to the site or updating their information. There's two little bits to it. So I'm going to open in another tab here, the registration form. This button on the left here that says registration form does the same as this button that says preview registration form. So I'll open that in a new tab. This will then show you what it looks like when you create them. As you can see here, there's a couple added in already, but I'm going to add in a few more. So with this being, we're using a test cricket website, obviously with the start of the cricket season just around the corner. I'm going to add in sort of like a cricket-based field. So you'd click there, click in add new, then click create your own. There's a couple of custom field options that we've already kind of put in for you for the typical things that you guys will need. But the idea here is to click create your own field, grab your paper form and then kind of translate that information into here. So it'll ask you who this applies to. So the one that I'm going to create here, I'm just going to make that apply to players. So I'll deselect everybody else. In the field information here, I'll put in a field name. Now I'm going to put in something like past playing experience. The short name is, as it says here, used as the column titles on the manage members page. So when you go to the membership database, this is just a short, you just need to put in a short version of this here. So I'm just going to put in experience. A description. This will be kind of what the guys will see as a descriptive of what they should provide for you when they're filling it in. So the description here, I'm going to put, please provide from the following options a summary of your past playing experience. The type of field, now this is key. Do you want people to be able to put in a single line of free-form text, a text field paragraph like the description box here, a drop-down menu like I'm on right now, or radio buttons like the who can view or edit bit below? I want a drop-down menu. I want to be able, for the guys to be able to go in and select from my sort of options that I'm going to provide. So I'll put in here county, school, club, just for fun. So these are the options that I'm going to put in there. So they'll go into this and they will select whether they've previously played for their county, previously played for their school, club, or if they just play for fun. And I'll pop in another one there, no experience at all. Who can view or edit? This is the key bit here, who can go in and edit this information. So you want to leave that as it is. If you select only club admins, that means that only club admins can actually select this for the member. If you leave this as club admins and members, it means that those members can go in and select that information themselves. So leave that one as it is. Is it mandatory? That's up to you. Do you want this information? Do you need to have this information? I'm going to say that we do need that. So I'm going to take that as yes. So it means they have to fill it in before advancing. And then I'm going to save that there. You'll then see that that will be added to the list of fields that have already been created. If I now go into the preview registration form as I had open before, I'm going to refresh that page. Excuse me. It's currently clicked into the club member one. The one that I provided was for players. So if I click into players there, you'll see all the ones that were already there. And then you'll see the one I've just created, past playing experience. Click that. There's the options that I've just created. This is kind of what it will look like for the guys when they go through to fill in their information. So basically, as I said before, grab that paper form, kind of take the questions and descriptions and answers or whatever it may be from that paper form and put them into the system as I've just showed you, while regularly checking how it looks. And that's what the guys will fill in. Should you need to kind of move the order of them, you can just drag them up and down as so. So that's a quick sort of demo on how to create them. You can gather information on different membership roles and sort of groups. So, typically all of the information that you'll need is on players, but if you need anything specific from parents or anything specific from coaches or whatever it might be, same goes, just select from the drop downs when you go to add the field. The next thing that I'm going to kind of show you is how to view that information pretty easily within your membership database. So I'm going to click into the membership database there. It'll show you the list of all of the people that you have in here. Now, don't worry, we're not showing you anything that's kind of sensitive information. These are all made up test members, hence why they are all registered no. To view the information that I've just created there, so the fields that I've just created, if I hover over fields, click into that on the right-hand side and scroll down here, as I get further to the bottom, here's all the fields that we created. So there's the one I just made there, the experience one. If I tick that, it'll add it to the sort of columns there, and anybody who has filled that in, their information will show here. So Obviously, because these aren't actually real people, nobody has filled it in. But should they go in there and put past experience, played for the county, you'd see that there. Likewise for medical conditions, emergency contacts, or just anything that you need to gather from people, that will all be listed there. Another useful thing in that, I'm going to untick it for now, but another useful thing for that is if you were to export your membership database, that you could look at this on a bit of a wider scale and look at it in Excel. If you click export there, it'll ask you which ones you want to export. Now, the payment products bit on the right-hand side here, that's something that Dan will move on to in regards to how you set them up. But the membership fields here, as you'll see, these are all the ones that I've created there. So you might want to just select at random, as I have all these ones here that you want to take from them, or you might want to select all of them or just a couple of them, whatever it may be. So that's how you view that information there. It's really key to encourage your members to go in and update their information. Now, obviously, new members will fill that in when they're signing up. Current members who've filled it in maybe last year or whatever, or haven't filled it in before, you'll need to send those guys a prompt to update their information. So this is, as I say, with this being a test site, you'll see this might not work fully, but say if I select these top 5 people here, click prompt to update information. Now it'll say the following members can't be notified because they're not registered. So if I filter down, I think we do have a couple of registered people within here. So again, this is another way that you can use the system here. I want to filter down for, is the user registered? Yes, I would like to see the people who are. Click filter there. It'll show you the registered people. So you see there's a couple of people here. It started showing all those different fields that I enabled before. But if I click into, for example, Joe here, prompt to update information, it'll allow you to compose a message that you want to send to this person. Please, could you make sure your information is up to date? You could pop in a little bit of a note there. Whatever you put in here, if I just put that in there, it'll add to that message. So you could pop in there, please head to your account and fill in the necessary fields and make sure you save that. Send that out as a message. They'll get that message in their inbox. As you see there, one prompt was sent. It'll come up as a notification either in their inbox or on their mobile device if they've got the app. And then they can go in and update their information, and then it'll update within the system here. So hopefully that will make sense. I'll reset that back to normal. It looks like there's been a few fields enabled there. The other key thing there is to make sure that you keep the information that's within your membership database here up to date. So you want to make sure that you have all of the correct people in there that should be there. You also want to make sure that if there's anybody that isn't supposed to be there, that you've removed them. So say somebody from last season who's left, or maybe somebody from a couple of seasons ago, if you haven't done this for a little while, they may now have left the club. So you probably should make sure that you've kind of removed their data from the membership database. They can disassociate themselves with the club if they want to, but typically people won't do that. So it may kind of fall down as up to you to do that. What I'm going to do, I'm going to refresh this page and hope that it removes all those fields. What you'll need to do here, well, not need to do, but something that will help. As you'll see here, there's a couple of fields that are typically enabled as usual. Again, if you click into the fields here, this is a new little feature that we've added in, which can be useful, is the last logged in button here. So if I click that, it'll add that in. Now, all of these guys will have probably the same date because we mass imported a whole load of test members. But what this does is show you the last time that those people were logged in. So say, for example, you may have here Marola, who's sitting at the top there, hasn't been logged in since 2014. That's probably a bit of a key indication that that person is no longer with the club and no longer using their Pitchero account. So you would then be able to click into that particular person there, click into their roles, and remove them from the club. It doesn't necessarily mean they're not a part of the club anymore. They might just not be using their account. In that instance, you should probably try and catch them at training or something like that and encourage them to log back in and start using their account. But it does give you a little bit of an indication as to who is and who isn't with the club anymore. Typically, people who aren't won't have been logged in for a long time. So it's really highly recommended in that instance to make sure that you keep all of that information up to date, season by season, just to ensure that you have everything that you need and get rid of everything that you don't need. Now, I'll quickly just mention all of these other things on the left-hand side here. We'll not go into them in too much detail. They are something that you can kind of explore in your own time. But you also have here, where I'm hovering over at the moment, is the member requests. So when people join up to the site, they will request to be a member. They will show there, if you are a webmaster, as active requests, and you can go into there and approve or decline people. There'll be a notification there should somebody show up. Again, manage conflicts. If you import people and you import two of the same or a very, very similar record, or a record that has the same email address, etc., it will flag up here as a conflict, as a notification there. All you need to do in there, again, go in there, decide whether it's worth merging that member to another or ignoring it. It might just be somebody who has the same name as somebody else at the club. Groups, you can create different member groups. They're useful for messaging. They're useful for kind of just viewing people in different sort of instances. They're in kind of different groups as they are. So everybody displays like this. You can filter down by roles and filter down by teams. But should you want to put people in different groups, for example, people who are looking to help out with a club or whatever, stick them in a message group. You can do that there. Teams, breakdown of members by team. Field, as I've just shown there, is where you build in your registration forms. That's where you preview it there as registration form. And the import members and export members buttons can be really useful when you're looking to get those members into the system or out of the system to look at the data a bit easier. In terms of importing, it does talk you through how you do it if you click into that one there, because a lot of you guys will have a database somewhere else that you're looking to get into the system. You just need to make sure, essentially, that your current format of the spreadsheet that you've got matches what it'll look like when you put it into the system. So my key advice on that one is export what you've currently got with all of the fields enabled, and then make sure that the data that you've got fits into those fields. It doesn't matter if they're empty, but you don't want to be putting something in there that isn't there, because it won't allow you to import that data. Hopefully that makes sense. If you're running through an import and you need any help, just give one of the guys a shout in the support team, support@pitchero.com. They'll always be happy to help. There's also the Pitchero Help Center online. That's something that'll be really, really useful for kind of any aspect of using the site. If there's, we've got the support guys on hand, but if there's anything that you need kind of while you're, while we're not in the office or whatever it may be, use this Pitchero Support and Help Center, and it should be really, really useful for you. So that's pretty much it from me, guys. Any questions, fire them in now. We'll get to them at the end. I'm going to pass over to Dan now, who's going to run through the shop and payments feature, because basically the key thing that I'll mention just before I leave you is that everything that I've just spoke to, or pretty much everything I've just spoke to, especially regarding updating of membership information, how that can all interlink, is very, very closely linked with the shop and payments feature and can be a very, very useful tool for you. So at that, I'll pass you back over to Dan.
Sure, thank you very much indeed. Excellent as always. So, as I say, my name is Dan, one of the account managers here. What I want to go through now is shop and payments. Now, if it's anything like the rugby club I'm involved with, we're always having issues of getting people to pay, membership, getting people to pay things online. We always get the old saying, don't we, when I've got no money, we see them at the bar then sort of 2 hours later with a drink in their hand, or I'll pay next week, but come next week, you've probably got that much on your mind. Running a club, you've probably forgotten that person owes as well. So using the shop and payment side of things with Pitchero, we did some research, and it turns out you will collect between 20 and 40% more than what you actually collect now, because you've got a list on there, so nobody can get away. Once people are all registered, like Joe's just shown you, and you can tag the people. If they haven't paid, just on the right-hand side here, once they've tagged it, would say paid here, or would say not paid. And again, this way, like Joe's shown you as well, you can send them a prompt to say you need to pay your membership, like Joe's just shown you. Or again, you can do the old-fashioned way of speaking to them when you see them in the club and say you've not paid. Again, when they paid, it's nice and easy. It would flash up there as paid. I am going to show you after this about the app as well, and how the membership and the payments all work through the app as well. So first of all, let's have a look at how we set up a payment. So as you can see here, this is a dashboard we've got for shop and payments. It gives you the transactions of what's happened and how much is coming to your club. If we wanted to change the dates, again, we can change the dates in there. So I wanted to look at the revenue for the last, say, 6 months or the last 3 months, depending on when it may be. All the information that's in here on paid and things like that, like Joe said, we can export that information across into an Excel or a spreadsheet. And again, if you're using some sort of finance tool or bookkeeping tool like Xero, something like that, you can then obviously import the information into that as well. So that is really, really good how it all interlinks as well. So I want to go into products because I want to set up a product. So always remember, everything with Pitchero that's adding or putting something on is always a nice big green button at the top. So here, I want to add a new product. Now, there's several things you can collect for online. So anything you can think of that's got a monetary value to it, you can collect. So membership, teamwear, merchandise, tickets. For instance, my rugby club, we had a ladies' evening. We just sent out a message to everybody, to all the ladies, to say, we're having a ladies' night, Prosecco reception, meal, £30 a head. and again, you can buy it, go onto the website and buy your tickets. Good thing about doing it that way, if your venue only holds 100 people sitting down, for instance, you know how many tickets you've sold. The old-fashioned way is you're going to team managers and coaches and you're saying to them a week before, how many tickets have you sold? Some will have sold none, some will have sold 20. You're getting there, you're thinking, hang on, how are we going to fit these in? So it just helps on things like that. You can do fundraising, sponsorship, you can collect for a tour. Excuse me. So it may be that the under 14s are going on tour at the end of the season and you want them all to say £50 a month. Then at the end of the season, when the tour's on, you can then take the money out and you can go and collect it. You go and pay for the transportation or the hotel, depending on where they're going. But for this, we're going to do membership. So click into membership. It then brings up step 2. So here, if you wanted to do, we can add a product image. Most people just put membership in there, or you can say you can pop an image in there if you wanted to do. I'm going to type in here, and this is going to be annual membership. Now, this is where we select a payment provider. We have 2 payment providers that we use here at Pitchero. One is Go Cardless, which is a direct debit system. Now, there is a misconception about a direct debit that it has to be for multiple payments. It doesn't. It can be for single payments as well as multiple payments as well. So bear that in mind. We also have Stripe, which is a card system payment we use. That is credit card, debit card, and it also has Apple Pay on it as well. So if you're all, technology driven and everything like that, you want to pay with Apple Pay, it allows you to do that as well. But for this, because I'm going to put a few variants on, I'm going to use Go Cardless. So I can put here a bit of a small description that they'll see. So I can put here annual membership, 3 offers. Coming down, is this group that covers several members? So it may be that it's a family membership, so you want it to be able to cover mom, dad, and the 2 kids, or the 3 kids, whatever it may be. But for this, we're not going to do that. If you're lucky enough, some of the above headers you can collect gift aid for. So again, you can click include gift aid declaration. What I'll say to you is always there, speak to your accountant, speak to your treasurer, get a little bit of personal advice on then see what you can and you can't claim for. So next one we come down to, does this product have variants? Well, yes, it does, because I want to put 3 different ways if you can pay for your annual membership. So what I'm going to do is click add a variant. So the first variant is going to be one-off payment, and that's going to be £100. Oops, 1,000. It'd be nice if we got £1,000, and that's going to be a one-off payment. I'm now going to add another variant. So here I'm going to put, monthly, and that's going to be £10 a month. Now we want to make this a recurring payment, so I'm going to go recurring payment. So it's once every month we want it to do. If you wanted to put a setup fee in there, you can do. Now what I want to do, I want the first payment to come out on the 1st of February 2020. I've only just got used to writing that. And I want it to come out after 10 payments. Because if my maths is right, 10 times 10 is 100. So I want it to come out after 10 payments. Thing to remember is there, if you click never, it will come out continuously every single month and just keep rolling. So it may be your club, that's all you do. The income is £10 a month. It just continually rolls all the way, and ongoing, things like that. But for this one here, I just want to put after 10 payments. Now, remember we said it's got a third one as well. So I want to do here, add another variant. This one is going to be, for instance, over 2 payments. So I can just put in here 2 payments. So each payment is £50. It's a recurring payment. Now here, if I put a 2 there, it would come out every second month. If I put a 3 there, it would come out every sort of 3. But so I'm going to do this here every 3. So what's going to happen is here, when I set up the date of the 1st of February, and it's going to be after 2 payments. So your first payment will come out on the 1st of February. Your second payment will come out on May, the 1st of May. So it comes out there. So it's over 2 payments. Again, that's all good for me. Don't want to add any more variants. Now want to go into this. 3 things here to look at. Now, all members can purchase. That's fine. So when people go onto your website, they go into your shop and they can choose and purchase it. Only assigned members can purchase. This is really, really good for one thing only. Now, we always advise leave it as all members can purchase because we will tag members in a moment, but only assigned members. So it may be at your club, you have a special agreement with somebody who could be a single parent on low income, and you said, right, we're just going to charge you £50 rather than the £100. So if you've made a product for them and you've clicked only assigned members, the only people that can see that is obviously webmasters like yourself and the person you've tagged. So it avoids a little bit of embarrassment if they're on low income or a single parent or whatever it may be. But that's just a way of being able to set up that payment for somebody and nobody else knows. But for this, as I say, we're going to leave it as all members because we are going to tag in a minute. So I'm now going to create the product. And as you can see, the product is now there. Now there's several different things I can do. I can edit the product if I wanted to do. Once the payment has been purchased, though, it can no longer be edited. That is something we are looking at with the developers of possibly being able to change, but for the time being, just bear that in mind, you can't. So if you do set it up as continuously rolling for every single month for £10, you have an AGM in 12 months and decide to put up to 11, you'd have to set up a new product. But hopefully, it's something we are looking into doing. Again, we can look at the transactions, which I mentioned before, but there's none on this because it's a brand new product. Payment form. This is really, really useful and ties into what Joe's just been telling you. So, for instance, Joe's just said we can add certain questions to the membership form. If I wanted to do now, I can add a membership field into there. So I might want just to make sure I've got the information to add one of those questions Joe's asked, or I could add a custom field. So it may be with your membership at cricket, you get a free cap or you get a free t-shirt. It may be that you want to know what size t-shirt. So we have had an issue today with this, so I beg your pardon. So let me just come out of that. It is a known issue, but it's I think it's because obviously we're on that today. So let's just go back into this. There we go. So yeah, we are aware of that issue, so just ignore it. But that's where you could put it in, like Joe showed you before. So you might put t-shirt, but underneath you might put what size do you want, and obviously it's small, medium, extra large, large, or whatever it may be, small boys, small girls, whatever it may be. So that's where we can put that in. Joe's just going to jump in here as well.
The key thing, just while Dan's running through all of that, the key thing, the reason why that's really good is creating a payment form. It means that sort of, if you guys are a new club this year, everyone would fill it in when they sign up to the site, but it means that when people are paying for their membership product, they can update their membership information at the same time. So that's the key thing. If you go in there and like Dan's showing you there, appreciate at the moment the guys are working on a fix for that, but when you go in there, it'll show you all the different options that you've already created. If you select them all, the guys can fill that in and then update their membership information at exactly the same time. So it's kind of like killing 2 birds with 1 stone.
All right, fantastic. Cheers, Joe. So again, the product's now been set up. We want to assign some members. So I can click here, assign members. So I might still want to say to myself, right, who do I need to assign this product to? So here, as always, we can always filter. So I want to have a look, for instance, at the club members. So if I click club members, it tells me who the club members are. I can filter by team. But for instance, it's brought me the 3 back here. So I want to tag Dan, Aubrey, and Annabella. So I'm going to tag those 3 people. I'm going to create 3 assignments. Now, what happens is here, which will go into the app at the moment, if they've got the app, they will get a push notification to say they've been added into a product and been asked to pay it. Or if they don't see that within 2 hours, an email is sent to their account to say, you've been assigned a product from your club, please log into your account and pay that. And again, as we mentioned before here, it says not paid, paid, or paid. So again, you can do that. Again, like mentioned before, you can export that information through as well. So that is really how the membership side of the payment side of things work within the membership. So as you can see, once the members signed in through Joe's process, and they put all the details in there. We can then start tagging the people as well. We can do, as Joe mentioned before, for instance, if we go back into the membership database, excuse us, our Wi-Fi is slightly slow today. I think it's the weather, the wind and the rain we're having. So let's just have a look. So again, here in the fields, if I come down to the bottom here, I want to know, for instance, who's paid the annual membership. If I click that, obviously it would come up in there. It would be a green button if they've paid that. So like a green dot in there. And again, it's just another way of exporting information through all on one spreadsheet across to Excel or a CSV file. Excuse me. So that is a basic way of setting up payments. There is different things you can do, but that gives you understanding of, you can set them up to pay in one lump sum. You can pay obviously monthly, or you can pay biannually. You can pay every month, every quarter, whatever it may be, you can do. One thing now I want to touch on, which really sort of ties into the database and the payments, is the club app. Now, there is 2 apps out there. There's a manager app, so that's for webmasters, team managers, coaches, things like that. And there's a club app, stroke supporter app as well. Really, really important that you encourage people to download this. Several reasons why. Again, you can look at all your details on there from your website, so all the match reports, the events, the fixtures. You can set all your availability and stuff like. Me and Joe will be running some workshops on those, so again, watch out for that as well. But the 2 things as well that I really want to touch on with the app is, Joe mentioned before, the medical conditions. So you're playing sport on a Saturday, Sunday, whatever it may be. Little Johnny gets an injury. We need to find out, right, I need to find out his emergency contact number, who it is. Now, on the manager app, if you go into the manager app, go into your members, into the teams, you can then, it brings up this on the app for you. So you could see all the information that has been filled out here. For instance, an emergency contact, it might be his mom, and there's a number. You can ring it from your mobile phone as well. So gone are the days I had to run back into the clubhouse, find the sign-in book where everybody's been and registered. Again, you can just pull this information through. And again, the only people that can see from that team are people you've authorised and been able to see that team. So again, under your data protection, your safeguarding, all your information is safe, but it's all digital now. So that's really, really good, really useful. It may be a team's put some food on after a game, for instance. You're thinking, hang on a minute, I'm sure one of these is allergic to nuts. Again, straight into your mobile phone, into that team, have a scroll through, and it would tell you who's allergic to nuts. So again, you're covering yourself and what it can do. The other thing as well on the app is you can pay for your membership as well. So when your notification comes through, you can go into your app, into the shopping trolley, click on the message that you've got. You can then go in and pay your membership. So again, a lot of these young lads I mentioned at the beginning of the talk, they'll say to you, oh, I've got no money, I've no cash on me. Well, now you can say to them, it's okay, don't worry, you can go into your app and you can set it up now, because all the youngsters nowadays have this online banking. They all have the app and things like that. One thing I am going to mention that we are working on as well at the moment is match fees. We're currently working on a product which we're hoping to be live by the beginning of the cricket season, end of March, beginning of April, where you can do a match fee as well. So they can collect not only membership, you can collect weekly match fees as well. Watch your space. I'm told it's definitely going to happen. Watch your space. So once obviously we know exactly some dates, we're going to start doing some road shows. We're going to be out and about with me and Joe, and we're also going to do a lot of webinars, and there'll be a lot of markets on this as well. So I know that's going to be really useful for you guys collecting match fees. One last thing I'll just touch on the app as well. They'll say to you in the clubhouse, well, why don't you go onto your app, and why don't you pay by your app? It'll go, for instance, oh, yeah, I've not got the app. Little something that we popped in here as well, which is really, really useful. As you can see there, the club app user. So if we click on there, it would say here, club app user, yes or no. So gone are the days of people are trying to con you and say, oh, no, or yes, I use it all the time. Well, you can go, well, no, you don't. I can tell here. So again, you can see who uses, who doesn't, which is a really, really sort of good way of doing things now. So that's a bit of a whistle-stop tour, obviously, going through payments and how it links into the app. Several different things will be coming throughout Pitchero for the next 12 months. We are working on match fees. We are working on different registration types of things as well to make life a lot easier and a lot simpler for you guys. Me and Joe will be out and about sometime in March throughout the country. We're coming down as far as up to Brighton, Southampton, all the way up to Scotland. and obviously stopping off at places in between. So again, look out for your marketing coming through when me and Joe are out. We are running webinars every single Thursday on different topics. We're running them obviously at 1 o'clock and at 7 o'clock. So if you think this is useful for somebody else in your club today, ask them to log on to the 7 o'clock one. So really, without sort of further ado, if you want to move on to your questions, if anyone's got any questions whatsoever, if you want to start posting your questions, we'll do our best to answer. So a question here from Jason. So Jason says, how much does membership cost a club?
Cheers, Jason. Good question. This is something that varies sort of depending on what package and stuff that you're on and what payment provider you choose. So the payment providers offer slightly different rates. Now, I will quickly show you if I jump into the shop and payments feature here. Payment providers, depending on the package you're on, the percentage from Pitchero changes, and also the payment provider have different ones. So you click into the payment providers one, click add a new payment provider here. It will show you the percentages that it takes there. So that will vary depending on what package that you're on, and depending on which one of these that you choose, Go Cardless or Stripe. Now, bear in mind, you can just go in and go, right, well, I'm just going to choose the cheaper one. But obviously, what you kind of got to bear in mind at the same sort of time is like which one of these actually applies best for the product you're creating. So yeah, it kind of varies on that one, but there is a couple of different options there for you.
Next one, let's have a look. Can you link the teamwear to an external site, i.e. Surridge?
Cheers for that one, Chad. You can do. What we recommend in that, if I jump to the front end of the site here, what we recommend doing in that sense is just sticking that as you get some options here above sort of the name of the club, which we call quick links. You can add them in the design feature of the site. Add in a link there to your teamwear site and tell the guys to go and pay in there. Maybe create a news article that's useful for that as well, to kind of so the guys can click into that and see where they need to go. There did used to be a shop feature that was kind of linked into Pitchero, but what we've done now is kind of bring that all in house. But you can still put external links up here, so that's where I would put that one, Chad.
Any more questions? We'll give you a couple more minutes to type. Obviously, if you just click on the pen or the pencil at the bottom, you can click on there. Let's have a look. Question from Jason. Jason's put here, are GMS records updated, or can Pitchero create a GMS import spreadsheet?
Cheers, Jason. It's a bit of a funny one, that is. We are looking as much as we can to be as sort of integrated with the GMS system as possible. They are trying to kind of launch their own version of this, so they're not being as forthcoming as they have been in the past. The key thing that I would say is to kind of, obviously, because you guys have to put certain things into GMS, put what you need to in there, but you kind of get the whole package with Pitchero here. So when you export that data from GMS, I would make sure that it's transferable into Pitchero. Kind of have a little read of the help articles on the help center in regards to uploading members and stuff, and then follow those instructions and just kind of take the data from GMS and upload it into Pitchero. In that way, that should work.
I think as well, if you're going to upload data, I think Joe's mentioned before, just have a chat with the support guys and just say, I want to upload this information, is this right? They'll be quite happy for you to sort of email it across to them. They'll have a quick look at it for you, and they'll say, yeah, that's fine, that's how it's uploaded from there. So that's good. Hope that helps, Jason. Any more questions coming through? I don't know if this is good or bad, Joe, if you've done a good job or a bad job. So
hopefully everybody understands what we went through. The key thing is as well, though, if there is any questions that arise afterwards, just drop the guys in support a message.
Chad's asked, match fee payment through the app, when will you know?
Cheers. The guys are working on it at the moment. We've been told that it should be ready for the start of the cricket season. Unfortunately, at the moment, Chad, that is all we know so far. We will try our best. Well, like I said, myself and Dan will try our best to get out to our clubs and let you guys know what's happening with it. But there will be some form of sort of formal marketing that comes out on that, because it's quite a big thing for Pitchero, quite a big thing for all the clubs on board. So there will be stuff coming out over that in the coming weeks. At the moment, we have just been told that it should be ready for the start of the season.
I think just backing up from what Joe's just said then as well, we want to, when we launch, we want to make sure it's right and it's obviously working for you guys as well. We don't want you to get 3 or 4 games into the season and then sort of say to us, you know, it's not what we wanted, it's not ideal. So we are, as I say, taking us time and as I say, making sure it is right for you. So question we've got here from Jason. What happens when a direct debit is cancelled or fails?
Cheers, Jason. Good question. It shows you within the dashboard now. We probably won't have a perfect example of this because it's a test site, but if I click into product here, I'll click into that one that Dan created, or we might have another one. Basically what it does is it tells you the status of the payment, whether that payment is paid, not paid, failed, or cancelled. Now if you click into this one, looks like it's got some dummy payments added to it. Let's just take a little look. So as you'll see here, these ones all show as paid. This one here is part paid, not paid, part paid. So there's different sort of kind of statuses that a product can be in. If you go into different transactions and stuff, it'll tell you, it basically gives you a bit more information on here. You can filter down by sort of the status of a transaction, whether it's cancelled, chargeback, failed, paid, etc. So that's where you see them all, but also what you get is a lot of sort of insight into that within your payment provider account. So you'll create an account with GoCardless or Stripe, you get a lot more insight in there. You can try and recollect for it through their dashboard and things like that. So there's a lot of the reporting tools that kind of tell you what's going on, and then a lot of functionality within our system and a lot more within GoCardless or Stripe that help you to kind of deal with that should it happen.
So it looks like that's it for the questions. So hopefully you've enjoyed our webinar. We have recorded the webinar, so it will be going out and about. If you want it, just get in touch with us here at Pitchero. Our support team is pitchero@support.com. Sorry, beg your pardon, it's not. I'll start again. It's support@pitchero.com. You can contact us at 0113 292 6070. Or again, if you've got an account manager, speak to your account manager as well. So that's it from me, really. Anything from you, Joe?
No, that's it, guys. If there is anything else, as Dan says, you know where we are, so give us a shout. Hopefully that's been informative. And hopefully we can, like I say, see you guys doing a lot more on the site in terms of getting your membership on board in the coming season.
Fantastic. Thanks, guys. Take care. We'll speak to you all soon.
Cheers, guys.